I found the receipt in his jacket pocket while looking for his car keys. Dinner for two at Romano's, our anniversary restaurant. Except our anniversary was 3 months ago and I'd spent it alone because he said he had to work late. The receipt was dated last Tuesday. The same Tuesday he told me he was meeting clients. $240 for dinner. Champagne. Dessert. The kind of meal you have when you're celebrating something special with someone special. My hands started shaking. I checked the credit card statement on my phone right there in our hallway. There it was, Romano's, but there were other charges too. A hotel downtown, flowers from a boutique I'd never heard of, jewelry, none of it for me. 6 months of charges I'd somehow missed because I trusted him, because I believed every late night and business trip and last-minute cancellation. I heard his keys in the door and shoved the receipt back into his pocket. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments below and hit that like and subscribe button now. Your support means everything to me. If you've ever felt underestimated by your own people around you, you'll definitely want to stick around for what happened next. Nathan walked in smiling, that easy, charming smile that had made me fall for him 5 years ago. Hey babes, sorry I'm late, traffic was insane. He kissed my cheek like always, hung up his jacket like always, headed to the kitchen to grab a beer like always. Everything was normal, except nothing was normal. I watched him move through our apartment, this man I'd built a life with, and wondered how long he'd been lying to my face. How was your day? He asked, settling onto the couch. I almost laughed. How was my day? I just discovered my partner was cheating on me, but sure, let's talk about my day. Fine, I said. How was yours? He launched into a story about a difficult client meeting. His face was animated, convincing. He'd always been a good storyteller. I just never realized I was part of his fiction. You seem distracted, he said, studying my face. Everything okay? No, nothing was okay, but I wasn't ready to confront him yet, not until I knew everything. I waited until Nathan fell asleep that night. Then I took his phone from the nightstand. I knew his passcode. We'd always been open about that, trusted each other completely, or so I'd thought. His messages loaded and my heart sank further. Her name was Becca. The messages went back 8 months. 8 months of good morning texts and inside jokes and plans to meet up. 8 months of him telling her things he used to tell me, calling her baby, sending her hearts. Making plans for a future that apparently didn't include me. There were photos, her at restaurants I recognized, wearing jewelry I'd seen charged to our credit card, smiling in hotel rooms we couldn't afford. I sat there in the dark, scrolling through months of betrayal, trying not to make a sound. One message stood out, from 3 weeks ago. Becca had written, "When are you going to tell her about us?" Nathan's response made my blood run cold. "Soon. I just need to figure out the right way." She's going to fall apart. I put the phone back exactly where I found it, went to the bathroom and stared at my reflection in the mirror. I looked the same, but everything was different. She's going to fall apart, that's what he'd said. Like I was some fragile thing that would shatter without him. Like I needed him so desperately that the truth would destroy me. The anger started then. Not hot and explosive, cold and calculating. He thought I'd fall apart. He was about to learn exactly how wrong he was. I went back to bed and lay there in the dark, planning. I couldn't just confront him. He'd lie, make excuses, probably try to flip it back on me somehow. I needed evidence. Needed to be smart about this. Needed to protect myself before he knew what was coming. Nathan rolled over and put his arm around me in his sleep. The same way he'd done 1,000 times before. I felt nothing. The man I'd loved was gone, or maybe he'd never existed at all. The next morning, I acted completely normal, made coffee, kissed him goodbye, told him to have a good day. He never suspected a thing. As soon as he left, I called my best friend Tessa. "I need your help," I said, "and I need you not to ask questions yet." Tessa had known me since college. She heard the tone in my voice. "I'm coming over." She arrived 20 minutes later with coffee and determination. I showed her everything. The receipt, the credit card charges, the messages, the photos. She went pale. "That absolute piece of garbage," she breathed. "How long have you known?" I told her. "Less than 12 hours. "What are you going to do?" she asked. That was the question. What was I going to do? "I need to document everything first," I said, "before he can hide it or delete it or convince me I'm imagining things." Tessa nodded. "Smart, what do you need?" We spent the day building my case. I took screenshots of every message, every photo, every suspicious charge. I forwarded them all to a private email account Nathan didn't know about. Tessa helped me go through our joint accounts, separating what was mine from what was ours. We made a list of everything in the apartment. Who bought what? Who owned what? What I'd need to take when I left, because I was leaving. That was clear. There was no coming back from 8 months of systematic lying. No fixing this level of betrayal. Are you okay? Tessa asked at one point. I thought about it. No, I said honestly, but I will be. She squeezed my hand. Damn right you will. By evening, I had everything organized, every piece of evidence saved in multiple places, a plan forming in my mind. Nathan came home at 7. Hey babe, he called out. Wanna order Thai food? I smiled. Sure, sounds great. He had no idea the bomb I was about to drop. I waited 3 more days, gathered more evidence, made sure everything was locked down. On Thursday evening, I suggested we have dinner at home, something nice, just us. Nathan seemed pleased. That sounds great, he said. We haven't had a real date night in forever. Because you've been having them with Becca, I thought, but I just smiled and poured wine. We sat down to eat, made small talk. It felt surreal, like I was watching someone else's life. I need to talk to you about something, I said finally. Nathan's fork paused halfway to his mouth. Something in my tone must have registered. Okay, he said slowly. I pulled out my phone, opened the folder of screenshots, slid it across the table. Who's Becca? I watched his face drain of color, watched him fumble for words. Where did you? 8 months, I said calmly. You've been seeing her for 8 months, Romano's. The Hilton downtown, jewelry and flowers on our credit card, 8 months of lies. Nathan's face went through several expressions. Shock, fear, then something that looked like calculation. It's not what you think, he started. I laughed, actually laughed. Really, that's what you're going with? He set down his fork, tried to reach for my hand. I pulled away. Let me explain, he said. It just happened. I didn't mean for it to happen. For 8 months, you didn't mean for it to happen for 8 months. My voice was rising now. How stupid do you think I am? He flinched. I was going to tell you, I just didn't know how. You told Becca I'd fall apart, I said. That you needed to figure out the right way because I'd be so devastated. His eyes widened. You read our messages. The audacity, the absolute audacity. You're cheating on me with someone for 8 months and you're upset that I invaded your privacy. He stood up, started packing. This is exactly why I didn't tell you. I knew you'd overreact. Overreact. He just called my response to his infidelity an overreaction. Get out, I said quietly. Nathan stopped packing. What? Get out of this apartment right now. He stared at me. This is my apartment too, you can't just kick me out. I stood up, met his eyes. The lease is in my name, my parents co-signed. Legally, this is my apartment, so yes, I absolutely can kick you out. That was true. When we'd moved in 3 years ago, Nathan's credit was bad. I'd put everything in my name. He'd promised to add his name later. Never did. I'd forgotten about it until Tessa reminded me yesterday. Now it was my trump card. You're being crazy, Nathan said. His voice had an edge now. I made a mistake, we can work through this. No, I said, we really can't. He tried a different approach, softer. Baby, please, I love you, it didn't mean anything, she doesn't mean anything. I picked up my phone, scrolled to a message. You told her you loved her. On September 15th, October 3rd, November 20th, multiple times. You told her she was your future. Nathan's face hardened, the mask was slipping. Fine, you want the truth. You've been so focused on your career, on your friends, on everything except us. I was lonely. She paid attention to me. There it was, the blame shift. Somehow this was my fault. I worked hard because I was supporting both of us, I said. You've been between jobs for 18 months. I've been paying for everything while you figured things out. And this is how you repay me, he scoffed. See, this is what I mean. You're always keeping score, always making me feel like I'm not enough. I felt something snap inside me. You're not enough, not because of money or jobs, because you're a liar and a cheat who blames everyone else for his own choices. His expression turned ugly. At least Becca doesn't nag me constantly. At least she makes me feel like a man. The words hit like a slap, but they also clarified everything. This person standing in my apartment wasn't someone I knew, maybe never was. You have 1 hour to pack your essentials and leave, I said. My voice was steady now, cold. Anything else you can arrange to pick up later with a police escort. Nathan's eyes narrowed. You can't do this. I pulled up another screen on my phone. I've already talked to a lawyer. I have documentation of the affair, evidence of financial infidelity, 8 months of proof that you've been lying and manipulating. If you don't leave voluntarily, I'll file a restraining order and press charges for the fraudulent credit card use. His face went white. You wouldn't. Try me. We stared at each other. 2 people who used to love each other, or at least I used to love him. I didn't know what he'd felt, maybe nothing real. Finally, Nathan grabbed his jacket. You're going to regret this, he said. When you're alone and miserable, you're going to realize you threw away a good thing. I almost laughed. No, Nathan. You threw away a good thing. I'm just finally seeing it clearly. Slammed the door on his way out. I stood there in the sudden silence, shaking, not from fear or sadness, from adrenaline, from the sheer intensity of finally standing up for myself. Tessa called 5 minutes later. Did you do it? He's gone, I said. She let out a whoop. I'm coming over. We're getting wine and ice cream and celebrating your freedom. She arrived 20 minutes later, arms full of supplies. We sat on my couch, my phone between us. He's texting, I said, looking at the screen. Message after message, apologies mixed with accusations, promises to change mixed with insults. Block him, Tessa advised. Don't engage, don't give him any oxygen. She was right. I blocked his number, blocked him on social media, deleted everything that would let him contact me. What about Becca? Tessa asked. Should you tell her what kind of guy he really is? I'd thought about that. Let her figure it out on her own. They deserve each other. Tessa raised her glass. To new beginnings. I clinked mine against hers. To not falling apart. The first week was hard, not because I missed Nathan, because I was angry. Angry at him for lying, angry at myself for not seeing it sooner. Angry at all the signs I'd dismissed because I wanted to trust him. The late nights, the distance, the way he'd stopped really seeing me months ago. It had all been there, I just hadn't wanted to look. My therapist said that was normal. We believe what we want to believe, she told me, especially when it comes to people we love. But I was done believing lies. Done making excuses for people who didn't deserve them. I threw myself into work, into hobbies I'd neglected, into friendships I'd let slide while I was focused on making Nathan happy. Funny how much time you have when you're not constantly trying to fix a relationship with someone who's actively sabotaging it. I started going to yoga, joined a book club, said yes to invitations I would have declined before. My life got fuller, better, lighter. 3 weeks after Nathan left, I got a message from an unknown number. This is Becca, we need to talk. I stared at it for a long time. Tessa was with me when it came through. What do you think she wants? I asked. Tessa snorted. Probably found out Nathan's a cheating liar, wonder how that happened. I almost didn't respond, but curiosity got the better of me. What about? I typed back. Her response came quickly. Can we meet? Coffee, there's stuff you should know. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at a cafe across town the next day. Becca was younger than I expected, mid-20s, pretty in an obvious way. She looked nervous. Thanks for meeting me, she said. I didn't say anything, just waited. She took a breath. Nathan told me you guys were separated, that you were just living together until the lease was up. He said you'd both moved on. Of course he did. Of course that was the story. We weren't separated, I said. We were together until I found out about you. Becca's face crumpled. I'm so sorry. I didn't know, I swear I didn't know. I believed her. She looked genuinely shocked. How long were you together? She asked. 5 years. She paled. 5 years, he told me too, and that it was basically over. The lies kept piling up. Different stories for different people, whatever he needed to say to get what he wanted. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Becca fidgeted with her coffee cup. Because he's doing it again. There's another girl. I found messages on his phone. Same thing he did to you, same thing he did to me. I shouldn't have been surprised, but somehow I was. How long did it take? I asked. After you knew about me, how long before he cheated on you? 3 weeks, she said quietly. 3 weeks and he was already on dating apps. I sat back, processing. Nathan hadn't learned anything, hadn't changed. He was just a serial cheater. It was who he was. I'm sorry he lied to you, I said to Becca. But I'm not sorry it's over. He would have kept lying to both of us forever if I hadn't found out. She nodded, wiped her eyes. I know, I just feel so stupid. I understood that feeling. You're not stupid, he's a liar, that's not the same thing. We talked for another hour, compared notes, figured out the full timeline of his deception. It was worse than I'd thought. He'd overlapped relationships, told different lies to different people. Created entire false narratives to justify his behavior. What are you going to do? Becca asked. I shrugged. Move on, build a better life, forget he exists. She looked at me with something like admiration. I want to be like you, you're so strong. I wasn't strong, I was just done being treated badly, done accepting less than I deserved, done believing people who showed me exactly who they were. You'll get there, I told her. Just don't go back to him, no matter what he promises. She nodded. I won't, never again. I didn't hear from Nathan directly for 6 weeks. Then he showed up at my apartment. I saw him through the peephole, didn't open the door. I know you're home, he called through the door. We need to talk. No, we don't, I called back. Go away or I'm calling the police. He was quiet for a moment. I just want to apologize, explain things. I don't want your explanation, I said. I want you to leave. He tried a different approach. Please, I made mistakes, terrible mistakes, but I miss you. I miss us. There was no us. There never really had been, just me trying to make something work with someone who was never fully present. Goodbye, Nathan, I heard him sigh, then footsteps walking away. I watched through the peephole until he got in his car and drove off. Tessa called a few minutes later. He came by, didn't he? How did she know? How did you know? He texted me, she said, asking me to convince you to talk to him. I told him to lose my number. Life moved on. I got promoted at work, got a raise, started dating again, though nothing serious. I wasn't ready for serious, wasn't sure I ever would be again. But I was open to meeting people, to having fun, to seeing what was out there. I went on dates with people who actually listened when I talked, who showed up when they said they would, who didn't make me question every word out of their mouth. It was remarkable how different it felt to date someone honest. Even if it didn't work out romantically, the basic foundation of truth made everything easier. I realized how exhausting it had been with Nathan. How much energy I'd spent managing his moods, excusing his behavior, convincing myself things were fine when they clearly weren't. I'd been drowning and calling it swimming. 6 months after the breakup, I ran into Nathan's mother at a grocery store. She looked uncomfortable when she saw me. "Hello, dear," she said carefully. I'd always liked her. She'd been kind to me when Nathan and I were together. Patricia," I said. We made awkward small talk for a minute. Then she said quietly, "I'm sorry about what happened. I raised him better than that." I appreciated the sentiment. "I know you did," she hesitated. "He's been having a rough time, lost his job again, living with us. I think reality finally caught up with him." I felt nothing, no satisfaction, no sympathy, just a mild indifference. "I hope things work out for him," I said, and I meant it, not because I cared about Nathan, but because his success or failure was no longer my problem. Patricia studied my face. "You look good, happy." I was, happier than I'd been in years. "Thank you, I am," she smiled sadly. "Good, you deserve that." We parted ways. I finished my shopping thinking about how far I'd come. From the woman who found that receipt to the woman who could run into her ex's mother and feel nothing but peace. That was growth. That was healing. Year after the breakup, I met someone. His name was Jordan. He was different from Nathan in every way, honest, consistent, present. We took things slow. I was cautious, but Jordan was patient. "I'm not going anywhere," he said. "Take all the time you need." We talked about my past, about Nathan and the cheating and the lies. Jordan listened without judgment. "That must have been really hard," he said. "I'm sorry you went through that." He didn't try to fix it or minimize it, just acknowledged it. That meant more than he probably knew. Jordan showed me through actions, not words. He called when he said he would, showed up on time, introduced me to his friends and family, made me part of his life in ways Nathan never had. "You seem different," Tessa observed one day. "Lighter." I felt lighter, like I'd been carrying a weight I hadn't known was there until it was gone. "I think I'm actually happy," I said. Tessa grinned. "Took you long enough." She was right, but better late than never. Nathan tried to contact me one more time, a year and a half after the breakup, an email this time, long and rambling, full of apologies and explanations and requests for forgiveness. "I'm in therapy," he wrote, "working on myself, understanding why I did what I did. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'm asking for it anyway." I read it once. Then I deleted it. Some people deserved responses. Nathan wasn't one of them. Jordan asked about it later. I'd mentioned the email casually. "Do you regret not responding?" he asked. I thought about it. "No, some things don't need closure, they're just done." Jordan nodded. "That makes sense." That was another thing I loved about him. He didn't push, didn't need me to explain or justify, just accepted my decisions and supported them. We moved in together after dating for a year, took the step carefully with lots of conversations and clear expectations. It was nothing like living with Nathan. Jordan pulled his weight, communicated, made me feel valued instead of drained. "This is what it's supposed to be like," Tessa said when she visited our new place. "This is what you always deserved." 2 years after the breakup, I heard through mutual friends that Nathan was engaged to someone new, someone who apparently didn't know about his history. "Should someone warn her?" Tessa asked. We were having brunch. She'd heard the news first. I considered it. "She's a grown woman. She can make her own choices." Tessa raised an eyebrow. "Even if those choices are based on lies?" "Even then," I said, "Nathan's going to be Nathan. She'll figure it out or she won't. Either way, it's not my responsibility to save her." That was growth too, understanding that I couldn't fix everything, couldn't save everyone from making mistakes, could only control my own life and choices. When did you get so wise? Tessa teased. When I stopped wasting energy on people who didn't deserve it, I replied. Jordan squeezed my hand under the table. I like this version of you, he said. The one who knows her worth. I liked this version too. The one who walked away from what hurt her. The one who chose peace over drama. The one who built a life worth living. Jordan proposed on a random Tuesday. No grand gesture, no elaborate plan, just the two of us cooking dinner in our kitchen. I love this, he said suddenly. What? I asked, stirring pasta. This, us, the life we're building together. He put down his wine glass. I want to keep building it forever. Will you marry me? He pulled out a ring. Simple, beautiful, perfect. I started crying. Yes, I said. Yes, absolutely yes. We got married 6 months later. Small ceremony. Close friends and family. Everything Nathan's version of us never was. Honest, real, full of people who actually cared. Tessa was my maid of honor. I'm so proud of you, she whispered before I walked down the aisle. For what? I asked. For not settling, for knowing you deserved better and refusing to accept less. I hugged her. Thank you for being there, for all of it. She pulled back, fixing my veil. Always, that's what real love looks like. She was right. Real love showed up, told the truth. Built you up instead of tearing you down. The woman Nathan married reached out 3 years after my breakup with him. Her name was Chloe. I found your information through mutual friends, her message said. I'm sorry to bother you, but I need to know, did Nathan cheat on you? I stared at the message for a long time, showed it to Jordan. What do you want to do? He asked. I thought about it. About the woman I'd been when I found that receipt. How lost and hurt and betrayed I'd felt. I'll tell her the truth, I said. She deserves to know what she's dealing with. I messaged Chloe back, told her the whole story. The 8 months of lies, the blame shifting, the pattern that continued even after we broke up. Thank you, she wrote back. I knew something was wrong, I just needed confirmation I wasn't crazy. You're not crazy, I assured her. Trust your instincts. I didn't hear from her again, but I hoped she found the strength to leave, to demand better, to refuse to fall apart like Nathan predicted I would. Looking back now, that receipt was the best thing that ever happened to me. It woke me up, forced me to see what I'd been avoiding, pushed me to demand better. Without it, I might still be with Nathan, still making excuses, still sacrificing my happiness for someone who didn't value it. Instead, I built a life I actually love, with a partner who actually loves me back, with friends who show up, with work that fulfills me, with a sense of self-worth that nobody can take away. Nathan's betrayal didn't break me. It freed me, taught me that I was stronger than I knew, that I could survive the worst and come out better on the other side. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you is actually the beginning of the best thing. You just have to be willing to walk through the pain to get there. I walked through it. And on the other side was everything I'd ever wanted. Not despite what Nathan did, because of what I chose to do after. If you've stayed until the end, thank you for being part of this journey. Sharing this story wasn't easy, but I hope it reminds you that betrayal doesn't define you. Your response to it does. So here's my question. When someone shows you who they really are, how do you find the courage to believe them? When do you stop making excuses and start protecting yourself? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Your stories matter. Your voice matters. This is King's Revenge Vault, where we celebrate the strength it takes to choose yourself. If this story resonated with you, please hit that subscribe button. Drop a like. Share your own experience below. Let's build a community of people who refuse to accept betrayal as their story's ending. Thank you for listening, for engaging, and for supporting this channel. You deserve honesty, respect, and real love. Never forget that. And remember, the best revenge isn't hurting them back. It's building a life so good they become irrelevant. Until next time, choose yourself. Always.